In a deeply candid and wide-ranging interview, the actor Johnny Depp spoke with uncommon vulnerability about his life, his career, and the raw toll of his public and private trials. He described moments of betrayal, moments of introspection, and above all, the search for peace and truth after years in the spotlight. This is the story of a star cracking open his heart, not for the cameras, but for himself. The man behind the persona Johnny Depp has long been known as the enigmatic figure, a swashbuckling pirate, a chameleonic actor, a musical collaborator, an artist. Over decades, he built an image of eccentricity and mystery. But in the recent interview, he presented a different side, less swagger, more wounded honesty. In his own words, he admitted he was pre-Me Too, and likened his ordeal to being a crash test dummy for the movement. He confessed to being a sucker for love, having been betrayed by people he once trusted, some of whom attended his children's parties, during the most difficult chapter of his life, his legal battle with Amber Heard, the legal storm and the fallout. The legal confrontation between Depp and Amber Heard became one of the most high-profile celebrity trials of recent years. Depp's claim that his reputation was unfairly damaged, and Heard's counterclaims, played out in courtrooms and media rounds. In the interview, Depp said the trial gave him his life back. The jury gave me my life back. But he also described what came after: isolation, people he believed in walking away, a career that seemed frozen. He said that even though he believed he never truly went anywhere, public perception painted him as being out of favor. He used harsh metaphors, calling some former associates death by confetti, those who cheered you on in public but stabbed you in private. The Tribune opening up about the past. A segment of the interview that many found unexpected, Depp addressed his upbringing and the emotional scars from his childhood. He spoke about his mother's alleged maltreatment and the deep effect that had on him. Furthermore, he reflected on his own mistakes, the excesses, the bad decisions, the battles with addiction and ego that his earlier career entailed. He acknowledged that the public image often overshadowed the private pain. Love, loss, and loyalty. Depp admitted to being vulnerable when it came to love. He called himself a sucker for love, which has resulted in both deep connection and deep hurt. He spoke of his children and what he owed them, not only as a father but as someone trying to reclaim his truth. He said, "Speaking the truth was something I owed to my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in their support of me." The Tribune on loyalty. He was firm. "As weird as I am, certain things can be trusted, and my loyalty is the last thing anybody could question." The Tribune career resurrection, or continuation. Far from surrendering, Depp emphasized that he never stopped working. He pointed to recent projects, including films like Minamata and Jean du Barry, as well as his pending involvement in Daydrinker, to underscore that he remains active and committed. He rejected the notion of a comeback, saying that the idea suggests one was absent. "Honestly, I didn't go anywhere," he stated. The Tribune artist therapy. Life as canvas, another facet of Depp's life that he opened up about is his art. For decades, he has painted, drawn, and crafted a parallel creative outlet that reflected his inner world. In 2024, he launched his first art exhibition in New York titled A Bunch of Stuff. He described art as his sanctuary. "Through the magic and madness of life, art has always been my sanctuary." In the interview, he admitted that the paintings and drawings represent residues of what he has lived, his relationships, his fame, his fears. The exhibition included portrayals of his mother, famous friends, and his own experiences with adulation and pain. Reckoning with fame and privacy, Depp reflected on what fame has cost him. He said that much of his life had been lived under a lens, and he struggled to keep anything truly his own. The trial only heightened that sense of exposure. He admitted that the hardest part wasn't the courtroom, it was the loneliness. He also said he learned to value privacy more acutely, the brief moments away from the cameras, the quiet time in the studio, the hope for genuine human connection not filtered by celebrity. Looking forward. Peace, purpose, and possibility. As he closed the interview, Depp spoke of peace, not the kind that means career over, but the kind that means truth in alignment with his values. He said he hoped his children see someone who fought, stumbled, and rose in his own way. He hinted at more creative ventures, acting, art, music, and a willingness to pick fewer, more meaningful projects. He emphasized his gratitude for those who stood by him. He said he's no longer seeking approval, just authenticity. Why this interview matters: transparency. For someone whose image has often been carefully managed, Depp's willingness to talk openly about betrayal, childhood pain, and vulnerability is significant. Cultural moment. The mention of being a crash test dummy for Me Too resonates beyond the individual, touching on power dynamics, gender, and public perception. Artistic rebirth. The coupling of his film career and his art shows a multidimensional figure redefining himself on his own terms. Humanizing celebrity. The interview cuts through the myth of perfection and reveals the messy, complicated person behind the headlines. Final thoughts: Johnny Depp's journey has been tempestuous, filled with highs of creative triumph, lows of personal and legal turmoil, and the in-between of quiet reflection. In opening his heart in this interview, he invites us not just to observe the celebrity, but to understand the man. Whether one agrees or disagrees with his past, what emerges is a story of survival, of reconstruction, of a search for something more enduring than fame. In the end, perhaps the most profound line is this: the jury gave me my life back. Not merely the legal life, but the life of self-respect, of loyalty remembered, of art reclaimed, and of the quiet hope that the next chapters will be written not by scandal, but by substance. Friends, subscribe the channel, and I wish you good luck. You should take care of yourself.